Good afternoon, people. What's going on with everybody? IOBA. My name is TC. So, a couple of things happened that are kind of newsworthy that I feel like I want to touch on. Actually, three things. Uh, first, Raphael Warnock versus Herschel Walker. By now, everybody know Raphael Warnock won that Georgia runoff, and he gave the Democrats, a numerical majority in the Senate. Okay, they didn't really need that win, but in order to control the Senate, but they got it. They got it because the Republicans felt like they didn't have to pick a decent candidate to run against Warnock. All they had to do was pick a black conservative. And they went out and got what many people think is the worst candidate that they could find to put up against Raphael Warnock, endorsed by Donald Trump himself. All they felt like they needed was a black candidate to run against the black incumbent. So they went out and they got Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker proved to be something that they act like they didn't know, didn't expect. During the initial interviews and everything, when they was talking to him about running for U.S. Senate, they had to know that, he wasn't very articulate and he wasn't going to represent himself well in those speeches and stuff that he in rallies and things that he had to give. They had to know that up front. But to me, anyway, it shows a level of disrespect that they have and contempt they have for the black electorate, that they would just stick somebody like Herschel Walker out there and expect him to win. Right? That to me, it shows a level of disrespect. It shows that they don't think we're sophisticated enough to even know what a real political candidate or a real politician should sound and act like. As long as he was black, we'd vote for him. That's typical Donald Trump thinking. That was his man right there. But like I said, when they was doing the initial interviews with Herschel Walker, they should have been able to understand that he wasn't really qualified for the job. But they didn't really care about that because they would have put enough staff around him to where he wouldn't have had to do anything except sign whatever they put in the front of him and vote yay or nay on whatever they told him to vote on. So, he was going to be handled very well from the inside had he won. But he didn't win. My thing is this. Raphael Warnock shouldn't even been a runoff. Raphael Warnock should have ran away with that altogether. But Raphael Warnock didn't want to align himself with black people. Not people of color. Black people. You know what I mean? It's okay to identify every other group except for the black people. They got to be people of color or some shit. But ain't no getting around it. He almost lost because he did not talk directly to black people. Now, these Democrats may think that they've come up on a winning formula of, of neglecting the black vote in favor of LGBTQ plus whatever, Hispanics and Asians and immigrants. They think that they can lump all them together, and then when they get enough of those people together, they won't need the black vote. And Raphael Warnock's win is going to reinforce that notion a little bit, I think. It's going to reinforce that notion. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's a winning strategy because usually Hispanics and immigrants, a lot of times, hear this out now, a lot of times they break Republican. Because a lot of times they got the same anti-black racism in their countries of origin that the white people have here. And when they get here, they wanna be classified as honorary white and part of the dominant society. So they're gonna help suppress the blacks. I mean, y'all heard out in L.A. in that council meeting where they was, talking all that greasy stuff about black people. Y'all heard all that. They tend to break Republican. So what it says to me is if the Republicans had run a candidate that was A, not endorsed by Donald Trump, and B, smart enough to put together a coherent sentence, Raphael Warnock would have lost. If the Republicans had ran a better candidate, Raphael Warnock would have lost. Because he didn't win by that wide a margin. He should have won going away if he'd have talked to the black people. But they don't even have a strategy for dealing with black people. And so what they're trying to do is make us, neutralize and make us, inconsequential as far as the elections go. But like I said, it ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work at all. The only reason Warnock won is because Herschel Walker was so damn bad. And you should hear the way the Republicans is talking about him now. They're talking about him like I was saying all kind of really racist things about the guy that they put up as the candidate. Now, as far as I know, of all the bad things that they're saying about Herschel Walker, of all the bad things that the Republicans are saying about Herschel Walker, I ain't heard nobody hit him with a rape charge. In other words, if he got kids all over the motherfucking place, it was because somebody was willingly laying down and fucking him raw. If he got kids all over the place, the women that he got the kids with, they knew who he was, and I'm sure that they had heard he had more kids. He had a bunch of kids. I don't really know how many kids the man got, but I do know, or I do believe, that he ain't got no rape charge. So he ain't took no pussy from nobody. So yeah, Raphael Warnock dodged a fucking bullet. But I just don't want them to think that that's a winning strategy, because it's not. Next, and I wasn't really going to talk about this one, but next, Deion Sanders leaves Jackson State to go to, I think it's Colorado. He leaving a $300,000 a year salary, a lot of which he had to use to fund his own program. At least that's what I'm told. Because the HBCU that he was coaching at was so piss poor until they didn't have a decent practice field. They lacked proper facilities. They was breaking in the man's car, robbing him. They was doing all kind of greasy shit to him, and he was still bringing prestige and notoriety to the university. And they ain't appreciate it. Now that he leaving, they mad. I don't know how much sacrificing they wanted him to do, but I do believe that that university should have took better care of him. Maybe they wouldn't have been able to pay him $5 million, right? But they could have paid him $2 or $3 million. You dig me? A year. They might not have been able to pay him $5 million, but they could have paid him $2 or $3 million. They could have came up with that money. They could have came up with that money by hook or crook. They could have came up with that money. And something in the back of my mind tells me that Deion, when he was telling them, look, I'm going over here to Colorado. They got a $5 million a year contract for me. Can y'all match it? Can y'all come close to it? Can y'all make a counter offer? You know what I mean? I don't know if a conversation like that was ever held, but it probably was, and they say no. So we can't match that. We can't even come close to that. So he went over here to this other school. Now, I think I think that there's plenty of qualified individuals out there, coaches out there, who could step in and pick up where Deion left off. You know what I mean? Ex-NFL players who could step in where Deion left off and continue, success. But that university, that HBCU, has to get its own shit together and get its own house in order. If you want quality people to come to your school, you got to find the money to pay them. You got to find it. You can't make excuses. You got to find it. You know what I mean? You got to get out there, sell pussy, popcorn, and peanuts or something. But you got to find money if you want a quality program. So, if I'm Deion Sanders, I don't know. I think I would have left too. I think I'd have had to go. It would have hurt me. I would have given Jackson State, I think it is, I would have given them a chance to make a counteroffer. But if they couldn't come at least halfway to where the other school was paying me, I would have left too. You know what I mean? Especially with all the other stuff that was going on, the bad water in Jackson, Mississippi, motherfuckers robbing me left, right, and center, all the other stuff that was going on. I probably would have left too. You know what I mean? When he gets to this new school, that team and I ain't seen, I think it's Colorado State. I ain't seen the football team he gonna be coaching, but I can believe that at least half of them players gonna be black. So there's that. And like I said, the next coach to come into Jackson State, hopefully he can pick up where Deion left off. They finally let Brittany Griner out of jail. They had to trade a Russian spy to get Brittany Griner out of jail. That's how that shit was going to play out anyway. You know what I mean? I think somebody called the guy a merchant of death or some shit. But do you know how many merchants of death the United States got? Whatever. I'm glad they let her out. Because for what they had her in there for, you know what I'm saying? It's when you think about all of the shit that goes on in Russia, as far as organized crime and drug dealing and all that goes, it's pitiful that they even had her locked up. But that was some kind of bullshit propaganda move. But I'm glad she out. I'm glad she coming home. And the guy that they had to give up, so what? These motherfuckers trade spies all the time anyway. These people trade spies all the time anyway. Yeah. So that they probably have some kind of interview with her and all that. You know what I mean? Welcome her back home, back into the WNBA and all that. Now she got something to tell. She got a book deal she can write. You know what I mean? She got a book deal coming up. That's so she'll make out with that. So to recap real quick, and then I'm going to get out of here. Herschel Walker lost. Raphael Warnock won. Warnock should have won going away, but he didn't because he didn't want to address black people directly. And he only won because Herschel Walker was such a piss-poor candidate. Deion Sanders left. I think at the end of the day, he didn't have much of a choice. They made him an offer he couldn't refuse. And Brittany Griner's out of jail. They traded her for some Russian spy, I think. And I applaud that because I applaud her getting out of that prison, getting out of jail like that. for a little bit of weed shit in a vape pen or some shit they had her on. You know what I mean? And that's it. That catches everybody up. So that's my commentary on those three things. I hope y'all all have a good holiday season. I personally don't celebrate Christmas. I just enjoy having the time off. You know what I'm saying? I just enjoy having the time off so I can recharge my batteries. You know, create some artwork and chill at the house. That's what I do during this time of year. You know what I'm saying? And don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, and help me reach my next 25 subscribers, and I'd very much appreciate that. So I'll catch y'all on the next one. TC, and I'm out.